What is up, down, and sideways, you truly beautiful individuals? It is another epi of League Unlock here. Mark here with you guys for the most pivotal, most important, integral regular season matchup of 2026 so far. And that's because I'm about to show you, we'll get some sweeping overreactions when T1 and Dplus Kia hit the rift. The madness, chaos that is the LCK right now, with the middle tier and even top tier being completely wide open. And we go right to the decider for this one. We'll recap the whole series, but I've never seen a man put on a highlight reel montage, 100% kill participation, getting every lane ahead with insane mechanics like we saw out of Kerias Pyke, and he goes on to lose the game. I'm reporting my whole team after this one.
Man, I think everyone has maybe experienced something like this. You have a friend who's in a way, way higher elo than you guys, and somehow, maybe he drops down, maybe you're playing flex queue, whatever the heck it is, joins you guys for a game, gets your matchmaking, pops off like crazy, but you still lose the game at the end of the day with some of these things. That's just the way League of Legends can go. And I think in this one, you are looking towards the Pyke as the champion. Yes, that is, of course, Keria showcasing his individual skill and personality on that champion, coming through with the creative plays, the pop-offs, the outplays, all of it. That champion is going to fall off at that 15 to 20 minute mark. You're going to start to see that regression, start to see where other champions are becoming more online, more of a threat, more resistant to some of these things. You need someone else to be set up to carry you to that finish line as that Pyke. And the problem is, he was set up. And that guy is Faker in the mid lane on the Aurora. Managed to get the advantage, the lead early, only to falter on execution in multiple situations here that end up being the deciding factor, I think, at the end of the day, on top of some strong performances to rebound and close out that game 3 from DK, where DK steps away as the winners on the day.
Yeah, and obviously the Faker Aurora memes, this does not help with that. Only further entrenches that Faker is not comfortable on this pick. One of like 3 in the game. We'll throw in the Yone and the Aurelian Soul for now picks that should be removed from pick ban for Faker and the T1 fellas. But listen, the result of this series is less important to me as to, how the result came to. And with such a dominant early game, and by the way, Keria still finished this game with 100% kill participation, which is absolutely insane. But they just kind of, they have this moment, Keria's too far in the jungle, gets caught out, dies, and then owner base checks, walks in, dies to this Vayne that's like 1 and 7 at one point. It was just discombobulated, detached, something we're not accustomed to seeing out of T1.
It feels like, when you watch something and, maybe you have a hiccup in your internet connection and there's just a pause and then it continues on type of thing like that at a certain point. It feels like that for T1, but having that lag, having that little pause in between your synergy disconnections is where you are getting punished in a lot of these situations for T1, or making these mistakes or overreaches in these type of situations. And I think it is one of those ones where, yes, I think a lot of people will maybe overreact out of this series, which is still, yes, a very important series, regardless of how you want to slice it up, winner or loser type of situation here. But it isn't obviously the be-all, end-all of this split and where you can go and how you can rebound and whatever. I think the real serious takeaway for me is, as you talked about, seeing that Aurora game, seeing that combined with knowing what we have seen from the Yone, the Aurelian Soul, which frankly, the Aurelian Soul of, half a decade ago, or the Aurelian Soul of nowadays. You could throw either one in that mix. But these seem to be these gaps within the masterful coverage that is the Unkillable Demon King's champion pool. And this is certainly an avenue where you can go, okay, maybe you just strategize about ways to counteract certain picks and whatever and have that within your repertoire. Or you can go back in time and look at some of the strategies used by maybe, 2015 SKT and your boy Easy Hoon playing the Azir all the time. Things like that. I think maybe could be useful to bring in a young gun, a young, good mid lane prospect, someone that has the type of zoomer skills necessary for these 200 years plus type of champions of Riot champion design. Because I think that is certainly an avenue that we can maybe identify. The unkillable Demon King might not be the GOAT.
Yeah, I think the Aurora one's trickier because she's so staple in the meta. Yone and Asol have kind of always been hovering on the brink of, S tier. They're more pocket picks, but Aurora is it. We know it gets flex top lane as well. Maybe it's something you throw Doran on these days, but definitely something to monitor. And you look at this series as a whole. I mean, the other games he played Ryze and Azir, right? The two main iconic champions for him. He has a fantastic Azir game. The Ryze was a little sus for sure. But, I mean, apart from DK's draft in game 2 was pretty yucky. This Misfortune Lulu, why is that going to be a combo? The LeBlanc is like the only real damage. So apart from that kind of yucky draft, DK dominated the other 2 games. They didn't dominate the Pyke early game, but after 20 minutes, they were fully in control.
It certainly is one of those ones where I think at the end of the day, it's going to look more positive or less of a blow to T1 having it be this 3-game series, going the distance, being, the advantages that we talked about within that game 3. But yeah, I think flat out, really, the percentages of domination, of control within this series is massively in the favor of DK and what they had going on. And I think a big part of that, of course, is going to be Showmaker and what goes on with him individually in that mid lane. But I think in this series, your boy Smash. Remember T1 Smash? No longer. This is DK Smash, and he making sure he's smashing in the bot lane.
Yeah, and that is, one of the other maybe concerns you look at for T1, because again, post this series, you're saying across the board DK with a better team, but Pays, we are far removed from what that Kespa Cup early LCK Cup form was, and especially when Keria is playing at this level, you're left kind of going, yeah, but where's Pays? Where's the Pays highlights? Well, there weren't any this series.
It's becoming a bit concerning because it looks like that maybe is the peak of his performance or synergy within the T1 organization. Now that, I think, really would be an overreaction in this type of situation to look at something like that. But it certainly has, in the last couple of weeks or so, regressed more so to looking like something we are talking about and criticizing with BLG and Viper, where it is, the faintest, smallest hint, the whiff, this little taste lingering in your mouth that you go, oh, yeah, that's exactly the flavor I recognize. That is the brand Viper, or that's the brand right there that I know. This is what I'm tasting. It's not what you're getting from Pays right now in the bottom lane. This is discounted, watered down, whatever type of version. And that's not going to be enough when you're contending with what seems to be that rising order in the LCK.
And I know 2 and 3 for T1, we're not actually panicking or anything. It's the same record as Kiwoom DRX, who, by the way, they play on Sunday, both sitting at 2 and 3. I will say, if T1 drops that, goes to 2 and 4 and outside of the top 6, I'm at least hovering a button at that point. I'm thinking, okay, this is getting a little suspect, guys.
Okay, well, if you're just hovering it, I've already had my ignition key turned and I'm pushing that red nuclear button at that point, because it's one of these ones where, yes, advocating not to overreact out of this type of situation in this series, but that drastically changes with the loss in the next series if that continues, because of your positioning that you're going to be in now for the remainder of the LCK and where that sets you up to be, Rise group and Legends and all these type of things. Can you imagine T1 down in the Rise?
Great practice for those other bottom 5 teams,
Holy moly, maybe that's the strategy of the LCK, to rise everyone all together, but I'm not buying it right now here as a T1 fan. I think that would be a nightmare situation. So absolutely, you shouldn't be overreacting or looking at things too crazily outside of this series, but certainly one of these ones where if it isn't improvements, if it isn't a rebound and a win in the next one, yeah, it is that emergency time for me.
And the reason you're potentially heading towards that is, again, there's no walkover weak teams in this top 6. Everyone else has raised up to new heights here in Split 2. So it's whatever playoff bracket or end of things are for MSI, it ain't going to be a cakewalk for even an organization like T1. Now the LPL is kind of following suit of the LCK and getting a little bit messy in terms of who's actually good and who's underperforming. Latest is NIP joining Invictus Gaming at 3-1. That's 2 squads you weren't expecting to be 3-1. And doing it by beating JDG in 2-0 fashion and dropping them to 1-3. LPL's getting messy too, Mark.
I might not have predicted either one of those teams to get 3 wins total for this split. Never mind now.
3 out of 4.
Crazy. Absolutely bonkers from both of them. And now focusing in on NIP in this one, it comes at the cost of JDG. And especially, I think in this one, fair to point out, Gala down in the bottom lane, getting getting dismantled by Awesome down there for this other squad. I think that really when you see what NIP was able to do, this is impressive from them, and it's raising that bar of who you think is in that true contention or rising dark horse type of bubble area of the LPL, which we always know to be one of the more exciting options when you're looking at the region.
I mean, you had Awesome got multiple solo kills on the Ziggs for Gala in that first game. You have Hoya playing a Gragas pocket pick in game 1 and looking clean on it. And then your former T1 jungler Guwon was absolutely gliding on this Lee Sin in game 2.
Yeah, and so it really was a great day and an impressive performance from NIP. It's one of these ones where I think maybe it's only brought down, and it's unfortunate for NIP in this case, that just the form, the effort that you saw, the cohesion and coordinated response from the side of JDG was very lackluster on the day that you're not going to get that type of boost. And this has been a JDG that unfortunately has kind of stumbled and bumbled their way out of the gates since the first stand. And that's not exactly the recipe that we were hoping to see in this second split from them, but it certainly has opened the door, as we've talked about. NIP, IG, really, again, unpredictable that these guys would be having the success that they are, and specifically, again, the rise of looking at NIP here, and then IG being able to weather a rookie absence with maybe the rookie replacement.
The top 3 in the LPL right now being Top Esports, IG, and NIP is crazy. I know we were just recently at a 3-0 BLG saying there's no contest there, so them being 4th is a little misleading. It's just they have 1 win less total than NIP and IG, so they'll bounce back. They got 2 games over the weekend, but it's messy in the LPL, and I outside of, again, BLG being top, I don't really know what to think of if you were to send 4 teams to Worlds, you know.
Yeah, that starts to become a more difficult, more of a question mark raising eyebrow type of question when you're bringing that one into the equation. But when you think about this, right now, the instability, the changes around it in the LCK and the LPL, I can't tell if it's one of these situations where at some point in the next, 3-4 weeks, we're going to start to feel that confidence, see an emerging beast dominant form of a team that you again put as that favorite above everybody else towards an international event. Or if maybe because of the way things are going, it's going to seem like there are more avenues, more opportunities to take away something, take something here and there from a team and put them on the back foot here, even from the LCK or the LPL. Going to be an interesting way to see things sort themselves out here, given the wild start we have had out of first stand.
The domestic battering and bruising in both the LCK and LPL is going to do one of 2 things. Either going to weaken themselves amongst each other for an international event to open it up for the West, or they'll train, heighten themselves even more, and these contested 3-1s will quickly become swift 3-0s at the midseason invitational. Obviously, you and I are both hoping for the latter, but we'll see as it plays out as we head into the weekend. That is it today for League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you, absolute stunners. Thanks so much for hanging out. We'll catch you on that flippity flip.